Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome my friends, my name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, and that channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. I got another beautiful recap for you folks. I've been looking forward to it all week. We've got some new pens, we've got some new paper, we got some new inks. We've got one special pen that has just come in. Yes folks, it's my first Chinese GRAIL pen. It is truly a GRAIL pen. Stay tuned for that. I've got quick unboxing and just a sneak peek at that pen that will be reviewed in detail during the week. But I've got lots more. We're going to do some nib swapping, for my weapons for next week. I've got some pens that I want to revisit, and I've got, of course, more of a pen haul and to show you. So without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy presents the weekly recap for February the 8th, 2026. Okay, so we're back with the first segment, which will be, let's take a look at market news. What's new in the market? I find there's not very much to speak of other than what's going on AliExpress and the Chinese pen market. And I've got some paper products as well that I want to talk to you about, and some inks. But having said that, what I've noticed on AliExpress, by the way, I do usually a search fountain pens, and of course there are cookies, and it's always, giving me the same things that I'm looking at, and it reads your profile, so it shows you everything, always the same stuff. So you have to kind of clear your history and your cookies to make sure you get a fresh search. For example, all I did was, instead of putting fountain pens, plural, I put fountain pen, singular, and it kind of gave me a new look in terms of pens. What I noticed is there's a lot of pens that look like, the Lemon M8, Lemon M6, or even that P136 Twilight Blue. Do I have it handy here? In any event, I think we'll take a look at those in a second. But all to say is that there's different looks, and that seems to be a style or a model that dominates at least my searches. Let me show you what I mean. We'll go on my computer. That's the first one. This is from a company called Penchen. Let me just Peng Cheng, and as you can see, it is a clone of a Mont Blanc. They all, unfortunately, come with kind of a fine nib, and I'm not sure how those fine nibs really function. Do I have another one? Let me just go back here. Yeah, here's another one. I have no idea who these people are. What's fun about this one is that it does have a long knife blade and long knife, but it's kind of a metalish pen, similar to the Asvine J16, I guess. I have this other one here, which is, I think, a clone. It even looks like it has, not a clone, probably a fake, of a Mont Blanc here. Again, but this one has a blade medium on it, which is interesting. Another pen, this is the Pencheng we just saw. This is the Booker or Tag Moon, I think they call themselves. It comes in green, it comes in blue, it comes in red. Check out the prices, because this one at $91 is exaggerated. There are others for the same pen that go for about $50, $55. But you can see that. Do I have another one? Yeah, so there is a few examples of this style of pen. And again, this is an imitation of a Mont Blanc. The other trend that I see is this Balaoi, or Balaoi, I guess, is really penetrating the market. They've got all these expensive looking Urushi Mackie pens. And this, I think, is just a Jinhao X156, probably, I don't know. But look, take a look at the nib they're introducing. It's like a quadruple, or a three layers. Looks like it has 4 layers to me. But anyway, 4-layered kind of a long knife nib. And I've seen that in other, that's the Mont Blanc, where is it? In the Wing Sung, again, as another one here, long knife blade that's stacked. So that's a double layered. So that's another trend that I've seen also on AliExpress. So they're getting into nibs, and which is interesting. The other interesting thing is that I don't know about you folks, but I thought Pilot prices were going up. But here is AliExpress is selling a Pilot Custom 742 with that 14 karat gold nib. Now, maybe at this point, the choices of nibs are restricted, but take a look at other vendors, because I think this is not the only vendor that's selling them. At $216 Canadian, which is roughly $150 US, I think this is a steal, folks. So I don't know what F-tip approximately means, but I guess it's a fine tip. But maybe it's a Japanese fine, and that's what they mean by approximately. I don't know if any other vendors sell any other choices. But here I am. I was thinking about, because all my 742, my 743, all have a Falcon nib, which are not the most, everyday friendly nibs. So I may very well take the jump and order this 742. Similarly, they have a 743, and here you have 3 choices of nibs, with that 14 karat nib, of course, at $303 Canadian, which again is, maybe $200 US. Personally, I think this is a bargain. Am I off the track here? Or please let me know what you think. Can I get these same pens? I know that if you go on eBay, and you buy directly from Japanese vendors, you can probably get some good deals. But they usually come with, customs duties and exorbitant shipping fees. This 743, you can see that the shipping fee is $19 right here. What is the 742? Same thing, $19. So there is a shipping fee, unlike some of the Chinese pens which come with free shipping. But I thought I'd mention that this could be something that may interest you. What else have I got for you? Oh yes, some of you may not have been able to buy the Asvine C2000 Ebonite finish. For example, I was looking for this brown version, and it looked like it was no longer on sale. But here it is. It's reappeared on AliExpress. It may also be on Amazon, but AliExpress is selling it for $124 Canadian. I may very well buy the brown version. I think I have the blue and I want the green, or I have the green and I want the blue, but I want to complete the set. This is a gorgeous pen. The Ebonite finish is just spectacular, and that 1.1 stub on this Asvine is just fabulous. So there you have it in terms of what I have in terms of pens on AliExpress. Now elsewhere, I noticed that Peyton Street Pens has some Parker 51s for sale. So anyone who's interested, you know, I just don't like those inlaid or those hidden hooded nibs. They're just, I don't know, there's something about them that I'm not attracted. The writing experience for me is not great. And I know you will all write to me and say that the Parker 51 is a classic. And yes, I need to have it in my collection. And maybe one day I'll pay more attention to it. But for those of you who are interested, you might want to check out Peyton Street. There's also Goulet Pens, has some novelties. I noticed this Lamy Nex at $26. There's the new Lamy All-Stars that I frankly am not interested in, but may be of interest to you. There's these two funny looking pens from Esterbrook. Again, you know by now that I'm not a great fan of Esterbrook. I think they're overpriced Yowo nib pens. There is this Pilot Explorer at $26, which I may be tempted to buy just so that I can compare a $26 Pilot pen with a cheap Chinese pen and say to you, you know, which one would I prefer? So that's Goulet Pens. What else have I got here? This is Stile. What I notice is that they have the new Platinum 3776 that's out, but they also have the new Leonardo Officina Italiana, the new Furore model, and they have a bunch of other Momento Zero, the smaller version, not the Grande, different colors of resins that may be of interest there. So that's Leonardo. Casa della Stilografica. Take a look at this, folks. You know that I'm a Scribble fan. In fact, they're featured in my pen haul, and we'll discuss that in a minute. But take a look at these two new pens. It's too bad they're selling at like 700 euros, you know, which in Canadian is like, you know, 1.6. We're looking at 1,000 plus. But they're two beautiful ebonite pens I'm staring at them and I'm tempted just looking at them. I'm tempted. So there you have it. So that's roughly what's new in the market. But I also wanted to show you some things that I received and that are going to come up in the channel in terms of inks and paper. So let me just unwrap them and we'll be right back. Okay, so what's new in the market? That's what's new in the market, but it's also what's new at Fountain Pen Studios, Fountain Pen Therapy Studios. These are inks from Van Diemen's. Isn't it great the way they wrap things up? Hopefully none of them have leaked. Ooh, I don't know. Is that leakage that I see? I hope not. No, it's just a wrapping. Okay, take that out. They wrap their stuff really well, like Europeans almost. Van Diemen's, my favorite ink company, and please check out, I have a 10% discount code, which I think still works. There you have it. Got a bunch of swatch cards with it as well. These are the Pen Chalet, so these are the swatch card. I might want to try to use them. Usually these cards don't give me the right time of day. I prefer to put them on Toma River. But here they are. Those are all the four fountain pen affiliated inks, I guess. Ring of Amber, you got Hibiscus, you've got Pacific, no, what is it? Shimmering fountain pen ink, Kamona Nui, or I can't read the whole word, but it's the Pacific version, from what I understand. World Oceans Collection from Pen Chalet. So we're going to be featuring these four inks. Maybe we'll do a independent video to highlight this collection. That's one thing that's come in. In terms of paper, I got this new and I forget the name of it. It's got some new paper in it. Koji paper from Sterling paper, Sterling ink notebooks. Those are usually very good. So we're going to be, and apparently this is kind of a replacement for Tomo River. So I jumped on it right away. I bought just a smaller version to test it, but we're going to feature this Koji paper in one of my recaps. Again, striving and with the objective of finding the ultimate replacement. So Koji paper from Sterling Ink has come in. What else have I got for you? Got this box. Remember that I'm still actively looking at all times for Tomo River paper. Well, here it is, the Wonderland Notebook 222. These are Tomo River original notebooks that I've ordered. I'm going to put, once again, I'll highlight that link in my description, but I bought 3. So I'm stacking up, folks. I'm stacking up, folks. I also like the idea they sell these kind of little tabs. So if you want to tab your notebooks, I know I've done it in one of mine for different sections, so I can divide my notebook. So there you have it. They have all kinds of stickers and stuff that come with it, which is very nice. So that's Wonderland 222, 3 notebooks. We featured them already, but I thought I'd mention that if you're into Tomo River, Wonderland 222 is something to take a look at. So there you have it in terms of the market, and stay tuned for my next segment. Be right back. Okay, so for the next segment, what we're going to take a look at is, of course, in order. We're going to show you some paper, and in the paper category, I got a little challenge as a result of one of my viewers' comments, and I'll explain in a minute. So we're going to look at some paper. We've got some brand new inks that just came in. We'll swatch those, and then we'll take a look at what my pen haul, and I got a big surprise for you. So without any further ado, over at camera, let me show you the paper that I want to discuss with you guys this week. Okay, I mentioned to you that I was going to be using this writing pad from YAMAMOTO paper, which looks to be the Tomo River original. Okay, it's quite a few pages. It's plain sheets. Because it was being advertised as a Tomoe River original, and I can never pronounce this, I bought 3 additional notebooks. As I mentioned to you, I was on the hunt for, I'm putting my hands on, I'm trying my best to put as much in my inventory as possible of Tomoe River original paper until it completely disappears. So I was in a good mood. I figured I've got plenty here to keep me going for a while. And YAMAMOTO has several of these pads from different papers, and one of them is the Sanson Tomoe River. So I figured, okay, so this is the Sanson, and this is the original. But as I mentioned in my previous recaps, in using this paper lately, I just get the feeling that I'm not getting the original Tomoe River here, and that it's very similar to this Sanson. So what I'm going to do, and you'll forgive me, but I'll make it up because we only have 3 inks. So I'm not going to be. It's not going to take longer than usual, I don't think anyway. And I've got my original notepad, Tomoe River notepad from Nanami paper. This I know is the original. Okay, so we're going to do, instead of swatching 2, we're going to swatch 3. We're going to swatch this Sanson paper, or so it's advertised. We're going to swatch this advertised Tomoe River paper, or so it's advertised, alongside what I know is Tomoe River for sure. So we're going to bend this so that it's not in the way. Now, in terms of feel, very difficult to tell. These two feel very similar. This one feels different from these two. Don't ask me how to describe it. It just feels different. Now, when I compared the feel, it's very similar. So the Sanson is very similar to this, what's supposed to be Tomoe River. It's very similar to this one, almost identical. Kind of reacts the same way. This one reacts a little differently. But look, it is what it is. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going, and let's go ahead and do the swatching. Very difficult. I mean, this is not an exact science. Maybe there's a way to test all this, more scientifically. But I just have this funny suspicion that these two are just Sanson. And one of the viewers said, look, if it says Tomoe River, Yamamoto, it's Yamamoto paper, they're very reputable operation. They wouldn't say it isn't. They wouldn't say that it is if it isn't. So, and I agree with them. It's surprising. So I keep saying to myself, you know what? Maybe it's just me. And so I figured that rather than introduce a brand new paper into the mix, I want to settle this debate first. And maybe we won't find the solution, but I sure as hell am going to try. So here we go. Okay, let's start. What is the ink that we're going to use? Be right back. Set it all up, and we shall see. We're back with the ink. Now, I've ordered 6 bottles of Diplomat ink. I've got Burgundy, Royal Blue, Caribbean. Actually, we'll do the green and keep the Caribbean for next week. Where is the deep green? I thought I had deep green. Here we go. That way we'll have another blue for next week as well. I've got 6. I've got different colors for next week. Just because I got a surprise coming next week, and I want to absolutely use my Diplomat inks for that. I think it's coming next week. We shall see. So in the meantime, we will swatch these 3. Deep green, royal blue, and burgundy. Standard green, blue, and red colors that I often use. Now, from what I hear, this ink is pretty standard stuff. In other words, there's nothing splashy about any of these inks or of the Diplomat inks in general. They're good performing, standard sort of inks. Don't tell me this is... No, it's not. So come on, just come with me here. Cooperate. There we go. Wow, like this green. Okay, let's go. So, first swatch. Wow, this is a nice green. Reminds me a little bit of Irish green from Mont Blanc, but I may be wrong. A long time I haven't used that Mont Blanc ink. Okay, here we go. So, now we're going to do some writing. So this is TRP original. And this is the Diplomat deep green, I call it. Very nice. This is Sanson. Wow. I can tell you right now that this Sanson feels more like the real than this one. My recollection of this one is that the ink will write much thinner lines. So I'm going to put here Tomoe River paper question mark. Yeah. I'm at a loss, folks. This feels more like Sanson than this one. I just don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to say. And it certainly doesn't feel like that. Anyway, that's the green. So I'm not sure we're going to arrive at any miraculous conclusion. Now, is this a bad batch? You know, it's always possible, right? It's always possible. Oh, wow, that's tight. Okay. Woo. Man, that was tight. Okay. Wow, nice royal blue. I'm glad these inks are as nice as they look. Okay. First one. Yeah, I mean, this is smooth. There's no texture on the real Tomoe River paper. Let me see this one. A little more texture. Now, this technically should be smooth, smooth, smooth. And it's not. It just isn't. I don't know what to say, folks. If you guys can help me, maybe there's something that I'm just not doing right. This is Diplomat. Look at that. Look how thin the line is. And it's textured. It's almost scratchy. Oh, I guess it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing like the Sanson. It's Sanson, folks. Let me see this one. Oh, yeah, there's just no comparison. Can you see how the ink just comes out so much thicker? Yeah, these two are Sanson. There's no way that this is Tomoe River original. I'm convinced, and I think, in all honesty, the more I go ahead here, the more I'm making up my mind. But we got one more ink, and then, you know, I'll wait for the comments, and maybe some of you who've tried these notepads have different opinion, or, you know, can help me in that regard. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still very nice papers, right? It's just not, that's not exaggerate. I am exaggerating just because I want to find the perfect alternative. And maybe with all the inventory I have, I don't need it. But it makes a fun video for me in a couple of months to kind of draw some conclusions as to this red, by the way, went down really smooth. And then, of course, it also depends on the ink, right? The ink could have something to do with it. So this is, you see, it just, the line, now is it the position of my pen? And this one is burgundy. See that? I mean, this one's even more obvious. That one goes on thicker, and then if I come here, and I did double dip there, but yeah, I mean, it's so different. It just, yeah, look at it's a much. It gives me the line, the thick line that this stub should give me, as compared to these two. So not convinced. This one's definitely Sanson, and this I know is the original. So there you have it. Some beautiful inks, by the way. We've kind of forgotten, you know, concentrating on the paper. So far, these inks are performing much better than I thought. The red burgundy is great. You've got some sheen that's kind of developing there. We'll let all these dry up, and we'll come back and maybe draw some additional conclusions. Okay, we're back with the inks. I mean, it's several minutes and they still haven't dried, but, you know, I'm getting similar results in terms of color. But, you know, they all say that Sanson kind of brings out the inks a little more than the original Tomoe River. And that's kind of what happens with these two that I suspect are both Sanson compared to the original here. Also, the original has a, you know, dries up not as quick. That's kind of brought out as well. Just two little dot there and a dot there on these two that I think are both Sanson. In terms of sheen, you know, it all depends on your swatch. It's difficult to draw any conclusions, but they all are giving me, the green is giving me on these two a lot more sheen than it does on the original. With the blue, it's kind of even, you know, when all is said and done. In terms of the red, you can tell that this Tomoe River is a little flattered in both of these, which again leads me to suspect that these are both Sanson. Now, in terms of paper, what you see on the other side, very similar in terms of, you know, some ghosting, a little bit of bleed through for the swatches. With regard to the real one, again, some bleed through, but a little bit of ghosting, but not, you know, similar to the rest. So there you have it. The mystery, if anything, just continues, folks, but I hope you enjoyed that. And if you guys have these two notebooks from YAMAMOTO, let me know what you think. Am I out to lunch here or not? Let me know. I'll put, of course, links to where you can buy any one of these all down in my description. So that's it for the swatching. Stay tuned for my next segment. Okay, so we're back with the pen haul for this week. Now, before I show you an unbox, actually I've done an unboxing that I've already taped. I couldn't resist the moment I received the pen, so I'm just going to splice that in after I do these additional pens. In addition to that surprise that I will show you in a few minutes, here are the pens that arrived this week. Okay, first of all, this is kind of an old pen that we've all seen already, but when I saw it, there's a certain attraction. This is the Jinihao 100. What I found nice about this pen, first of all, take a look at the resin. I think the resin is spectacular. It is this pastel color. This would definitely go good with some of those lighter inks, which I don't like. But I think I put light blue in here, turquoise color anyway. What I like about it is I have several, Jinihao 100s and in the Century, but they all have the kind of a gold trimming. This has a silver trimming, and along with a silver nib as well, and all the trimmings are silver. Silver coated, of course, silver colored. And I just forgotten how really good this pen is. And especially for the price, I think you can still get them for $20 or less, or around that price in any event. I mean, it's a good size. It's a cartridge converter. It certainly posts a little back heavy, but in terms of length, but still comfortable in your hands. It's got a beautiful, just the way that tapers there. The threads are extremely smooth. The pen is just built just in perfection in my mind. And sometimes we forget how this cheap Jinihao is really taking us by storm, and we've kind of forgotten hold on, what's in there? Is that a piston? Okay, so it's just a piece that just unscrews, but I thought maybe it was something that I hadn't seen before. No, it is a cartridge converter. because I filled this pen already. There you go. But I thought that maybe you could see the piston by removing that finial. But you know, you've seen this pen before. Let's give it a go. Let's write with it. Now I haven't written with this in about a week because in about a week I would say. So this is that's me, Jinhao 100. I'm just going to put pastel color so I know. The nib is a number 6 steel Jinhao. Now let me see, is this a medium? I don't think you can tell. I think they don't. Yeah, you can't tell, but it's a medium. From the nib, I can tell it's a medium. And even from the line. The ink here is Konpeki. So, Iro Shizuku Konpeki. Folks, it's just a wonderful pen. And if you see any, and now they've come up with all kinds of resins, but I just had forgotten how really nice this pen is at that price. You know, we applaud Mahjong and Asvine, and deservedly so. The only drawback that this pen has is that it's got a very stiff nib. And some people don't like that. But on the other hand, that stiffness gives you that precision, you know. And some people do like that stable, stiff writing that is very predictable, okay? Anyway, so for me, when I saw the pen, I was attracted, and I decided to add it to my collection. So there you have it, the Jinhao 100. Now, what else have I got for you? Now, I've got this pen. Now, you've seen this before. Yeah, this is the Scribble La Dotta that I bought in Italy. And I bought this pen at Stilo e Stile in Rome when I visited Rome and I visited their shop. Recently, as you know, I was sent by Scribble the Flow in that beautiful ebonite with I don't know how many facets. And Luca from Scribble offered to leave the pen with me. I had a choice, either return it after the review or keep it, and he offered a discount on the pen, and I accepted the discount, so I kept the pen. Now, unfortunately, the original nib on this La Dotta and on the Flow, and that was stupid of me, I chose the Fine Flex, so both pens had Fine Flex. In hindsight, I should have ordered just another nib, another Scribble nib, so that I could compare and have something different and have a different writing experience. So I wrote back to Luca and I said, Luca, what kind of a price can you make me on if I ask if you can send me just a fine nib, not a flex nib, a fine nib? He gave me a fair discount and I ordered it and it arrived and it's in here. So this is the Scribble with a 14 karat fine nib. There's no flex on this, just just a standard fine nib. But let me tell you, wow, I'm glad I ordered it, which gets me to say that perhaps, and they have various choices, if I get another Scribble, and I'm sure I will very soon, waiting for a new model that pleases me, I might test a medium while I'm at it. So this is now again, I haven't written with this in a while. Scribble La Dotta. With this Twilight, I forget the exact name. I think it's Twilight something or other. It's a resin, I think probably by Jonathan Brooks resin. So the nib is a Scribo standard. Oh, is it 14 karat or 18 karat? My apologies. It's an 18 karat. Fine. The ink. What is the ink on this? Not sure. Not sure. I thought I put Capri in here, but it's a little. I think it's blue Capri, but with leftover of green Mediterranean from Scribo. Yeah, I think there's just some residual green in the feed, because all I did is replace the nib, not in the feed, but in the piston. I didn't wash out the entire piston, so the more I write, the more it becomes bluish. So there you have it. But let me tell you, I really like this fine nib. And again, who would have predicted that Vincent, or Vincenzo, who was a stub maniac, now is slowly becoming a fine maniac? It just shows you how tastes evolve. I still like a nice stub, It's like I'm Italian, I eat all kinds of food, but I still enjoy a nice plate of spaghetti, if you know what I mean. So you come back to your roots. I still enjoy a nice stub. But let me tell you, if your fine nib writes like this, who needs a stub, right? There you go. There you go. So that's the fine from Scribo. Before we go to that special unboxing, I want to show you, in terms of the pencil, I bought this Lamy. This is a Lamy, probably 05. I'm not sure if it's 05 or 07. I figured, why not? I should have yeah, it's 5. It says right there it's 5. So this is the Lamy mechanical pencil. Now, I don't know if they sell more than one, and I forget now if this is like the Safari model of the pencil. I'll put it up on the screen if I can find it. But again, very nice. That grip is very nice. And I think the color and just the shape of the pencil, it's much thinner than a fountain pen, but it has that, same looking, probably shorter clip. It has the triangular grip here and writes very nicely. So that will be the pencil for the week, my pick of the week, and probably come with me in the weapons for the week. So there you have my part of my pen haul. Just going to picture for my B-roll here. There you have it. Very nice. Now, stay tuned for the surprise. So, like I said, I'm going to splice in a unboxing, or at least a partial unboxing, and then I'll come back. Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome, my friends. My name is Vincenzo, and welcome to my channel. And the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. 2026 has been marked, for me anyway, with, and it's really just out of coincidence and not by design. I've landed on a series of GRAIL pens, or at least considered by me GRAIL pens. And it's just the way things happened. Once in a while you hunt for a particular pen for months and months and months, and sometimes years. And it was the case for the particular pen that I'm reviewing for you today. I've been wanting this OMAS 360 for ages. And then one day, there it was. I was surfing through North American pen auction listings, and there was an OMAS 360, but in white. And originally I said, well, wait a minute, do I want the white one or the black one, or there's even a blue one, etc. And then I said to myself, that ivory white looks so sharp. And who knows, it might be even a limited edition. And I needed to react quickly because it was there. The auction was quickly moving along, and I needed to bid for it, and I got it for an excellent price. I think the pen is in great condition. So without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy, and yes, me Vincenzo, presents to you another GRAIL pen, the beautiful OMAS 360 in white. So I hope you enjoyed that unboxing. It's I'm back. Here it is, by the way. It's been sitting on my desk. It's going to get reviewed. It's got this beautiful box. I just want to show it to you again and show it to myself again, frankly. The box is it picks up all the, the oils from the skin. But there it is. What a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pen. But what I realized is that I think I omitted to tell you what this is. For some of you who haven't noticed yet, this is the Hongdian D6 hand pen, and it is just fabulous. I got to tell you, the way it unscrews and comes out and just sits in your hand, the weight of it, all the decorative aspects, and God knows the history behind all of these very, very complex and detailed engravings and 3D shapes, etc. We will review that in detail. I think I've discovered there's an app somewhere that you can kind of take a shot of what's in here, because this is all in Chinese. And what I will do is I will try to get all this translated for you so that in my review I can give you as much information on this pen as I can. Of course, everybody's kind of wondering whether or not there's going to be a steel nib version of this pen, similar to the D5. I have no idea whether or not it's in the works. I know that this pen was out for a while and it went like hotcakes. It's now there, so when I saw it, I bought it. It appears there's still some left on AliExpress if you're interested. But you know what, folks? That's it. I'm not going to say any more. Just stay tuned. Hopefully this week you'll get a detailed review of this beautiful Chinese GRAIL. So stay tuned for my next segment. Okay, for my next segment, it's Pens Revisited, and I'm going to keep the 2 notebooks, and we'll continue to write on them just to see. First of all, I want to come back to the 766, from ADMOC, which I think is just another alternative, a cheap alternative to, or a cheaper alternative to our Pilot Custom 823, which has now increased in price. And of course, what I've done, you saw my review, is that at the end, I replaced this, the ADMOC nib that was there with this Stipula stub nib, which with a ebonite feed. That ebonite feed, I think, came from, if I'm not mistaken, another pen company, and I forget which. I don't know if I mentioned it in my review. One of the questions I had is whether or not this would leak, because a lot of you asked me, can we replace? Very easy. I don't know why you would get a Bock nib and spend, I don't know how many dollars more for this pen. First of all, I don't like Bock nibs. I think they're overrated, but you may. I don't know why you would want to spend more money. If anything, get the Schmidt nib. But at the end of the day, that if you get it with the original ADMOC, you can just, friction fit, remove the nib, and replace it with almost anything, including a Bock nib, a Yowo nib. A Kegloo nib would fit in there. I don't know about the Schmidt nib because they may have some indents in the nib itself. I forget now. But certainly this pen doesn't leak on me. It's been writing all week. So let's revisit and just see how it writes. So this is the ADMOC 766. And it has a Stipula stub, steel number 6. Again, we'll repeat that. Yeah, very similar. This is not original Tomoe River, folks. I'm sorry, but no way. No way. Where's my other pad? This is the original. There's no difference. There's no comparison. Yeah. Original Sanson, folks. I'm convinced. Let's put that away for now. Won't waste more of your time. One thing I noticed is, let me just, this nib needs a little bit of, right here, you see that? It's scratchy right there. And given that I have a tendency to write this way, I think I'm going to give it a little smoothing so that it doesn't catch the paper. You're supposed to write this way, okay? And if I write properly, not a problem. But if I write the way I usually write, I'm going to snag because I do have a tendency to. And that brings up the fact that maybe I should be using an oblique nib. What do you guys think? That's going to be my next, I think that's going to be my next experiment. Anyway, ADMOC 766, I thought I'd revisit that for you. Now, what else did I want to mention? Oh, yes. One thing, and I mentioned it in my opening news of the market, that we're seeing more and more metal pens of all kinds. Let me just clean up here so that we have lots of room to show you. We're seeing a lot of these, similar pens to this. This is the Majon Twilight Blue P136, which of course is an imitation of, and I forget the name, but it's a Mont Blanc. And in fact, if you go on AliExpress, you'll find the Mont Blanc fake of this pen. It looks similar, except I think it has it actually has the Mont Blanc logo on top, which is unfortunate. But there you have it. And, I thought I'd revisit these pens, all of them that kind of with the metal look. So this is the Majon P136, and this has the Moonman nib, and it's a stub. What a beautiful, beautiful pen. Let me tell you. Let me just go a little smoother there. Here we go. The next one, of course, is even nicer, which is the Majon, and so is the nib. Majon. I mean, you can't beat, folks. You cannot. P136 in titanium, or TI 136, with a lemon hand polished HP medium. Oh, just. Then this is my, and look at these pens. I mean, I haven't written, this one I haven't written for a while. This is kind of a cheat, but it only has 5 points. This is the lemon. I think this is the M6, again with the lemon hand polished medium nib. Then of course you have the lemon M8, and you've got, I showed you other lookalikes. So this is the lemon M8. Whoop, that's me. Again with a lemon hand polished. Oh no, this might be a straight nib. Yeah, I think this is a straight nib, but it's still a medium. It's not writing because I think I'm running out of ink. Oh, this is a piston filler, so I don't know. There's no ink window. So then, of course, you have my Hongdian N25. This is the Hongdian. Whoop. That's drying up on me. And you see the pattern that's here? Whoop, let me just see if I can focus. Come on, you can do it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Focus, focus, focus. Come on. Can you just cooperate and focus? It's not focusing, but there's a pattern. Oh, there you go. You can see that pattern. It's similar to what's in that new GRAIL Chinese pen I just showed you. So there you have that. It's dried up, though. This is the C5, I think, the Hongdian, the Space Yacht. You see, this is kind of dried up on me. Unlike the Majons and the lemon, Hongdian does dry up on you. See? And what about this one? Same thing. In all fairness, I haven't written with these pens literally more than 2 or 3 months, but some of these others I haven't either, and they write beautifully. Like this one, which is the J16. I don't recall having written with this for a long, long time. Let me see if it writes. Yeah, look at this. '16, and this has a Yowo broad nib. So smooth. Very nice. Huh? You can see the difference, right? This is a Tag Moon Booker, and I showed you that green Tag Moon. Does this write? I don't expect this to write. Yeah, barely. Not as bad as I thought. A little bit of a spring. But when I write with it, there's not enough in this nib to entice me to get that green pen that I showed you. And then, of course, there's this one, which is the Majon. I'm not sure there's any ink here. No, there isn't. This is the Majon. I washed it out. This is the Majon, the big one, so to speak, the P141. Very nice. But so there you have it. So I thought I'd revisit these pens for you, given what appears to be not a trend, but there's some attempt there to by other companies to come out with pens that are similar to these in any event. So I thought I revisit those, and maybe they will form part. I haven't decided yet, but they might be my weapons for next week, or maybe I've got something else planned. I got to think about it and keep you on your toes. So those are the pens revisited. Now, do I have any other questions that I need to answer? Let me just look at my notes. No, that's it for Pens Revisited. Be right back with my next segment. Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome, my friends. My name is Vincenzo, and welcome to my channel. And that channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. I got another beautiful recap for you folks. I've been looking forward to it all week. We got some new pens, we got some new paper, we got some new inks. We've got one special pen that has just come in. Yes, folks, it's my first Chinese GRAIL pen. It is truly a GRAIL pen. Stay tuned for that. I've got quick unboxing and just a sneak peek at that pen that will be reviewed in detail during the week. But I've got lots more. We're going to do some nib swapping, for my weapons for next week. I've got some pens that I want to revisit, and I've got, of course, more of a pen haul and to show you. So without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy presents the weekly recap for February the 8th, 2026. Now, before I set them all up, I just wanted to show perhaps my viewers who are just beginning. So, for example, here I have this is a Yowo nib that I bought from Goulet Pens. He sells them with his Goulet branded logo on it, but essentially it's a Yowo nib. This is a 1.5 or 1.1 stub, a 1.5 stub. So what we do is we take the feed that we just removed and washed out, okay, line up as best as we can the nib. Now in this particular section, whoop, there's some water coming out, but okay, there is a kind of a key there, okay, that you could see that is flat right here. So you line it up with the flat section of that bottom section there, and you just insert it, make sure it's properly set, and then you could take, and I believe this belongs here, you can take the section and just screw it back in, to which you will attach the converter and reassemble the pen. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to do that for all these. If there's any of these nibs that I cannot accommodate in this pen, I will let you know. Then, of course, once you use the pen, some of them may, in fact, leak. In other words, they may not be a perfect fit, but that's part of the experiment. Some of them might go a little bit deeper than they would otherwise. But you know, if they're secure, you try them out, see what happens, and if they leak, there are other solutions. The other solutions would be to put some gel around here to give it a little more sealing. But basically, if I see that unless I really want a particular combination, if I see that one particular combination doesn't work, I just move on to the next one. I don't bother with, gel and silicone gel, etc., etc. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. But having said that, just to let you know that there are other, and you may have other ideas in terms of how to secure a sealed swap, but that's the way I do it, and I've had fairly good success in the past. So there you have it. So let me accommodate all these nibs, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Boy, let me tell you, lots of inky fingers there. I had to get all those nibs back in and ink them all up. I think I'm going to keep track. Hopefully I will remember what ink I put in what pen. I did add one other pen to the mix. I forget what number this is. This is a Jinhao 9016 or a 9056. Just because I did want to keep this brand new one with its Jinhao nib. Figure, just want to use it a little bit just to see if the performance of those Jinhao nibs has improved. Especially, it's my first silver coated nib. So, in fact, we'll start with that one. That will be kind of our baseline, if you will. Okay, so 100, I will call it once again pastel color resin, and this has a nib which is the Jinhao number 6 steel fine. Now all of these are steel, so they're all number 6, so there's really no need to repeat that in the other. I must say, I mean, unless a very stiff nib bothers you to the point where the writing experience, I mean, it's not an exciting writing experience, but certainly is a very efficient and functional and precise one. So, okay, so that's the Jinhao. Now, first one. This is kind of a steel version of the Jinhao 100. I had some doubts if it was Jinhao or not. It was a Jinhao in there. It looks like it's part of that Montefiore JD pen style that have copied the Pilot Custom Mirushi pens, and this one kind of copied, I guess, the duofold, but I think it's made by Jinhao. And what I've done in here is I've put in a lemon nib. So let's take a look at this. Now, the lemon nibs don't have in the indication of the size, but we'll call this JD duofold clone, if you will. Okay, and the nib is a lemon. I can tell you what it is. Hand polished medium nib. Just beautiful nibs. And of course, all the nibs I chose are readily available separately, which is the fun part of this. So I will try to put in the description maybe a link to where you can get all these nibs, okay? Most of them are available on AliExpress. Now, including that hand-polished lemon nib. I think if you just Google lemon fountain pen nib in AliExpress, you'll find it. This one is I matched this black 1.5 Jinhao Yowo nib with this black skeleton version of the 100. So this is the Jinhao 100 skeleton black. It's a really huge 1.5, I can tell you. Very big. It almost looks like a 1.9. And it has a Yowo 1.5 stub. This Yowo nib I bought from Goulet Pens, but Yowo nibs now are readily available. There you go. Oh, the ink in here is Scribble Blue Cosmico. And I forgot to mention in this clone here that the ink is the, well, now I'm going to mess it up, but this is Diplomat. Royal Bull, just so that we can keep track. There we go. And as you can see, it comes down very dark, and then when it kind of dries up, it dries up a little lighter. Another 100 skeleton from Jinhao, which, by the way, they have these great converters, because it has this extra gold piece here at the top, and it makes the converter much longer, so when you have a small bottle, very easy to ink up your pen. So very nice. Now this one has a Moonman Fine. Now for Moonman and for a lot of these nibs, you'll find that I chose the Fine simply because I have my mediums and my stubs in other more meaningful pens. The Fines are my least preferred, so that's why they were readily available in that box. So this again is the, does it write? Oh, this one's not writing. Oh, we'll have to come back to that. I don't know why. Okay, well, we'll come back to this one. Let's see. This one here has, I didn't test these before. Okay, this has a K-glue nib, which are really, really nice. Hopefully this will write. So this is the Jinhao 100 and light blue. And it has a Kigaloo medium nib. Really nice, folks. I recommend these nibs, and they're not expensive. But again, they don't have any major bounce, but they write very, very juicy, very wet, the Kegaloos. Okay, what else we got here? Another skeleton here. I think these are called 100s, but they may have given it another name. I don't think so. So this is Jinhao. Can I fit one here? Well, you know what? Let's go to the other side. So this is the Jinhao 100 gold black skeleton. And the nib, I forget to mention, this is the Schmidt medium. Look at this, folks. I mean, it puts Yo nibs, in my view, Schmidt, I may be spelling that wrong, Schmidt medium nib, just fabulous. With that hint of feedback. And I forgot to mention again the inks. This is DIPLOMAT. What do they call it? Deep green, I think it is. Is it deep green? 1 second. Yes, deep green. And this one, of course, is... Come on, Vince, wake up. This is the DIPLOMAT Royal Blue. Sorry, Royal Blue. Just so that I remember. And of course I'm going to put all this, I'm going to transcribe all this in my my inked journal where I keep track of the inks I have in all my pens. In this, and again, you'll forgive me the exact name of this pen, but this is Jinhao. I think it's the 9056 wood. And the nib is an Asvine fine. So that's interesting. And the fun part is that for Asvine, you can purchase number 6 nibs, and you can get them either extra fine, fine, medium, or even in that 1.1 stub. So this is an Asvine fine nib. The ink is, I believe, yeah, this is the Leonardo Noce Moscato. Oh, so if you want an Asvine nib, a lot of you say, can I put an Asvine nib in there? The only nib I don't have here, and I should have thought about it, is the Wing Sung number 6, you know, that kind of fine medium nib. Not the number 8, not the new ones. I don't believe they've come out with new number 6 nibs yet, but I suspect they will. And those are nice nibs, and I can tell you they fit, not a problem. Okay, another one. This one has a can write. Is it broad or medium? It's a broad. So this is a Jinhao. Whoa. This happens. Jinhao 100 orange. A little bit too much. It's also the ink. And this is a can write. medium nib. Beautiful nibs. The ink is the Iro Shizuku. YAMAMOTO. Very nice nib, I can tell you. Canwrite, their pens sometimes have a little bit too, you know, their quality control is not excellent, let's just put it that way, but they have some very, very nice nibs. Okay, the next one, another Jinhao 100, of course, and this one has this has the Ongdian medium, that nib with kind of the petals, you know, design. So this is the and I'm going to put here orange matte, just for me to understand which one it is. The nib is the Hongdian medium. The ink in this one, hold on. Yeah, the ink in this one is the DIPLOMAT Burgundy. Okay, there we go. Now, what have we got left here? Let me just see. Oh, yes. Just 1 second. We're just going to let this dry up so I can turn the page and not make a mess. Be right back. Okay, so we're back. Now, this one here, I have a flex nib that it's called Executive Vibe. You know, cheap nibs, cheap pens, probably all Jinhaos. But they have this flex nib, which I thought was interesting. Not the greatest. Executive Vibe, and I did put it into this Jinhao 100. So I thought I'd show you that. And so this is the, does it write? Yes, it does. Jinhao 100, dark blue. Again, it has the Executive Vibe Flex. I think it's a Flex Fine. It's actually not bad. Nice scribing noise. It's like a loud sailor pen, but it feels good. Very nice writing experience. Very cheap. I think the nib is like $20 or something. Okay, so that's Jinhao. Oh, the ink on this one is Cosmic Blue from Scribble. Okay, I think we've covered all of them. Except I didn't cover this one. It wasn't writing, and what I realized was that the feed was perhaps a little too high, and it was just not feeding any ink. I did test it before now, but just a few seconds ago, this is one of the worst Mahjong nibs or Moonman nibs I've ever written with, so maybe it was a wrong choice, but it's all to show you that it does fit. This is the, yeah, it's scratchy nib, Jinhao 100 Skeleton Red, and it has the Moonman fine nib. The ink is the Diplomat Burgundy. And yeah, there you have it. Now, just to typically to make you understand what I would do with this nib, I have these, you can buy these gold gauges, I guess you call them. I mean, most of them you don't need. They're too thick. They're probably for mechanics more than anybody else, but or, you know, handymen, etc. But I would probably take a 0.04, start with 0.04, maybe even 0.05. And typically what I would do is that I would slide that gauge into the slit there and just maneuver it back, you know, left and right, open it up a little bit. Okay, just make sure you can remove the entire nib and just do it with the nib. I sometimes take the shortcut and just slid it in there and you know, maneuver a little bit and just open up those tines. If 4 fits, you can go to 5. If it doesn't, start at 3 and move on. And then typically what I would do is I have a box here full of my these. You can get these on Amazon, micro meshes, different sizes. And I would typically just do it, you know, circle 8s, for example. I can show you, I guess. You know, I would take this and play around with the nib and do circle 8s. And various people have various theories on how best to do it, but this is what I do, and it works. And just that, you'll see. You see that? The scratchiness is gone, and I didn't even open it up. So a bad nib all of a sudden becomes a good nib. So don't give up on those nibs, not right away. But all of these nibs are, you know, fairly inexpensive. They're much cheaper than Yogo, Schmidt, and Bock. And you know what? You can have fun with them. So there you have it. I think we've gone through the whole series of pens. Different nibs, swapping was the theme this week. And you know what? I'm going to enjoy those pens during the week. I hope that was useful. Stay tuned for my next segment. Okay, so we're back with the next segment, which is YouTube reviews. What have I got for you? Well, I've got three videos that I thought were very interesting. One is by El Placer de la Escritura. I believe he's a Spanish fellow, but his videos are they're translated, and I don't know if it's his voice or if it's an AI translator, but not that typical, you know, AI voice. It sounds like it's his voice, but in English, or maybe he's speaking English. If he does, it's you know, completely acceptable, more than acceptable, in fact, and probably better than mine. And what he's doing is he's reviewing those Urushi pens that are being sold on AliExpress. I've always wondered whether or not they were worth the purchase. And if you have the same questions, well, take a look at that video. That might kind of resurrect some thoughts there. Second is my friend at Fontaine de Plume reviews that Eureka titanium dip pen, which I was tempted. He actually wrote to me and said, Vincent, if you're interested, take a look at it. I'm not sure I'm going to change my dip pen. It's not a priority for me, but it may be for you. And if you're looking at a brand new product, and those Eureka products are so hard to get, I'm not sure whether it's still available on the Eureka site, but it's something you may want to take a look at if you're looking for a dip pen, especially one made in titanium. Lastly, I found this video from Inky Rocks. She's always very, very interesting. All her videos are, and she takes a look at, you know, just a very unique way of looking at journaling. And, you know, some of you may be wondering, how should I journal? How do I, you know, what kind of things should I think about? And how do I get you to, you know, write with your pens? Well, Inky Rocks, I think, gives us some fresh ideas. So I thought that was interesting. So there you have it. That's in terms of other YouTube reviewers. In terms of my own reviews, well, we had the recap of last week, which are always They're not time sensitive other than the market. All the other sections can be viewed at any time, frankly. We also had the review of the 766 ADMOC, which I hope you appreciated. And most recently, I've also reviewed, or I finally published my video on my 2026 setup of all my notebooks. It gives you some ideas of what I'm using, and it might give you some ideas as to how you could organize all your notebooks. And so there you have it in terms of YouTube reviews. This week, what's coming up? Well, I'm going to work very hard to make sure I get that D6 hand review out today. You might be lucky and maybe you'll get another review on Friday. I'm going to see if I going to publish 2 reviews from here on in, just because I have so many, and I don't, I have, for example, the TWSBI Obsidian that's been around and I've just never gotten around to it. I noticed 2 new pens have come in as well. I've got one other pen that's been sitting there for now several weeks, and I've got more in the pipeline. So maybe, and some of them are just kind of time driven. You don't want to review your D6 hand, a month from now. I mean, I got it. It's my Chinese pen GRAIL. I need to review it right away. And so, the TWSBI Obsidian takes a back seat. And some of the other pens I got will also push my TWSBI. So maybe we'll publish 2 per week. We'll see. We'll play by ear. It all depends on the time I have and my inclinations. I'll wake up one morning and decide to publish something. That's just the way it is. But for sure, you get something on Sundays with my recap and something on Wednesday with a pen review. And you may be lucky and get more. I'm also doing little shorts, just introducing things that I think would get you to see the bigger or the longer review. And I got little tidbits here and there, got some ideas. So just to keep you all engaged and keep me inspired and keep you inspired. So there you have it in terms of YouTube reviews. And that's really it for my recap this week, folks. I hope that was interesting. If you've gotten this far, please subscribe. So, click on that, what is it, the alert button, the subscribe button, and the like button. Leave me a comment. They're always appreciated. It feeds the channel. You give me lots of ideas, and that's what it's all about. If we're going to do these recaps that are an hour and a half long, we need material, we need content, and I appreciate your input. I know I have my regular viewers who are just fabulous. Their commentaries are just so on point. Very informative. They educate me on a weekly basis. Sometimes I don't have the time to, give you detailed replies, but I try to bring the content into the channel, and some of it comes from there. So please comment. Are always appreciated, whether it's negative or positive. And if it's negative, correct me on anything. You can be sure that I will give it consideration, and if appropriate, even give it some airtime on my recap. So there you have it. Have a great week, folks. Enjoy your pens, your paper, and your inks, and be well. Ciao.